We're now G. Is there anything else up under G?
Nothing. And
All right.
public
We're
comment.
now up under H. Comments from the public.
Matthew Cardinale and General Platt.
Hi, everybody. This is Matthew Charles Cardinale, news editor of the Atlanta Progressive News and the vice treasurer of the Fulton Atlanta Community Action Authority. A couple things, actually. Wanted to just give you the small thing first. I wanted to just speak in opposition to 11-0-1248, which is actually the CDP changes to redesignate properties on Lindbergh Drive, Morosco Drive, Adena Drive, and Piedmont Road. This is under G number 6, and it's a CDP 1106. And I'm just speaking in opposition to this. I know it's been held for a while, but there are some affordable apartments there that I think are a real jewel to our community, and I would hope that we could preserve those. I'm not in support of a Walmart going in, nor a bunch of condos. So if those apartments are going to be replaced, I hope that they would be replaced with something affordable. Thank you. I also wanted to speak. The city of Atlanta, as you know, has been going through some challenges related to the tax allocation districts. The city of Atlanta recently instituted painful cuts to workers' pensions. Fulton County is set to possibly raise the millage rate. And the Atlanta Independent School System is closing our schools, devastating our communities, and yet we are diverting our tax dollars as a city, as a county, and as a school system to the Beltline and to the ADA through the TADs. And by the way, it's still the ADA. There's been no name change filed with the Secretary of State. I need for people to understand that these impact everyone who lives in the city of Atlanta, not just who live in TADs, and there are a lot of people who do live in TADs. But the tax increments from the TADs that are being diverted from the general fund. They are being diverted from public safety. They're being diverted from public works. They're being diverted from sidewalks. And so, all that, also that Beltline executives can live.
I can't hear him. I hear buzzing and people talking.
And I've waited a long time. Thank you.
Thank you. I apologize.
Okay. And all of this so that Beltline executives can live large and dine at fancy restaurants, and so the ADA can make developers rich with no meaningful oversight. So what about the oversight? Where was the board of directors of the ADA? Who was the treasurer? Who was the one responsible for reviewing the income from the various increments from the various TADs? Well, prior to 2009, the treasurer was Councilman Alex Wan, the vice chair of this committee. So I'm trying to figure out how Mr. Wan, who cites fiscal responsibility as his main issue and was so willing to cut our workers' pensions, was able to sit there and go, okay, Atlantic Station, TAD increment coming in, check. East Side TAD increment coming in, check. And then look at the account's expenditures and fail to ask, why is this money accumulating? Why is it being spent on soft costs? Why is more money going into this fund than is necessary to fund the debt obligations for our project lists that have already been completed? And where were the other ADA board members? The mayor, Emma Darnell, Anna Foote, Ms. Shepard. I think a lot of us just assumed that no excess increment would go into the ADA in the first place, or that if it did, it would be returned to support the needs of our citizens citywide. Well, the ADA board and particularly the current and the previous treasurers who were responsible for making sure that that was the case, and y'all have let us down. Where was this committee? The ADA was recently here. Why didn't they tell us that they had to suspend Beltline, Inc. from credit card reimbursements due to fraud and abuse? Who is going to hold them accountable for that omission of information to this committee? The ADA would have us believe that because they're governed by state law and are not a part of the city, that this committee can't conduct meaningful oversight. Well, I would just say I want to remind people that the city of Atlanta provides $1.9 million in general operating funds each year over the last 2 years to keep it afloat, and that we elect to engage the ADA to manage our TADs. We don't have to do that. We could manage them in-house. There are other counties and other municipalities who do so, and I'm here to advocate that that's what we do. Can I ask how much time do I have left? 32 seconds. Let me just say, you know how I feel about the time limit, Ms. Shepard, and I just would say I think we would do better to let people finish their thought, let people finish their sentence. And I just think we actually would have been able to let people finish and have a more happy and productive day and spend less time arguing and going back and forth. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Cardinale. Let me just say that yesterday at 3 o'clock from 3 to 5, there was actually a work session with the audit findings. The City of Atlanta Audit Department just did a whole audit on all the tax allocation districts. We were here from 3 until 5 o'clock with Leslie Ward from the Audit Department. We accepted the findings. Some of the things that Mr. Cardinale talked about was discussed in that. We actually, as a council, have agreed and accept her recommendations. We will be, again, as I said yesterday, and I'll say today, this is just the beginning. The audit was very insightful. It is just the beginning of a process that we'll start as soon as we come back from recess. We're not going to do it in the middle because we think it's going to take at least 2 or 3 months. We want to, as a council, we want to go through every TAD and look at it and do an assessment of each TAD based on the findings and actually look at some possible changes in terms of legislation, look at the finances of it, come to some consensus one way or the other, whether we're going to keep these TADs, what's going on in terms of the surplus. So the audit was the beginning of a discussion of us diving a little deeper and most definitely looking at our TADs. So it was a wake-up call for us. And so we accept as a council responsibility. Invest Atlanta was here, they accept responsibility. We here, it wasn't just about the Beltline, it was about all of our TADs. And so I hear what you're saying, but we are, as a council, looking at how we can really make sure that we don't see that happen again.
Well, thank you. And I'm not here to play gotcha. I'm glad to see that you're doing good things about this. And I do want to see oversight. Thank you.
All right. Anything else?